where's the boundary for yourself? Like people say, you can't give people water if your cup isn't full. So you got to learn how to fill your cup before you just start giving that to people, because you're at the end of the day, you might not even be helping them. Like that,
Yo,
now
that's
this person.
crazy. And what about the houses? Actually, not even to get too deep into that because that's probably like super complicated. Tell me about the elements associated with these, and
Okay.
the fact that there's also a planet ruling each of these. Let me know about those.
So yeah, each sign is a certain element. There's water, there's
Hmm.
earth, there's fire, there's air. Fire and water are the emotional signs. Like
Right.
fire is like, I'm going for this, like I'm spreading this, like I'm initiating this. I'm like, I got the energy. And they have like an inner knowing.
Hmm.
And they're kind of like the inspiring people. Like Leo's a fire sign. Like they're
Yeah.
just like in the spotlight, just shining. And it's funny because the planet that rules them is the sun. But
Hmm.
and then water signs, in terms of their emotions, their emotional side is more reflective, and
Mm.
it's more like about like feeling people's energy, and they're very like empathic. So they could kind of like read emotions really well. So they're
Mm.
both fire and water are both emotional elements. They just like carry it off different ways.
That makes
And
sense.
then air and earth is more like, air is ideas, it's abstract stuff. You can't touch air, right? It's just like
Yeah.
all this thinking, communication,
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that they're interested in. And earth is very like material, very like you can't touch it. Those are the people who are touching the grass, who are
Yeah,
are
tangible.
carpenters building stuff, kind of like what what has earth given me and how can I transmute that into something. Rather, air is like, what is floating out here and how can I transmute that into something? You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. So when it comes to each of these being attached to a zodiac and those also having a planet, give me what yours would be in that regard. Just as an example, like you're an Aquarius sun. So what planet and what element is dictating how you carry yourself as an Aquarius sun?
So as an Aquarius sun, it's there's like a lot of interesting stuff to this, but Aquarius is an air sign. And
Yeah.
like I said, air sign is about like thinking, it's about communicating,
Mm.
and opposed to like the other air signs where Gemini kind of likes to like socialize with a lot of people and keep
Mm.
gathering information and then teaching that information to other people. And Libra is like, it's all about one-on-one relationships. Like it wants to be like, you're how do we build here together? How do we build here? And then
Mm.
when it gets to Aquarius air sign, since its ruling planet is Saturn, and Saturn is a planet of discipline and structure, Aquarius is about what ideas can I do to structure something with people to make the world a better place. Um,
Right.
so what ideas can I have to build structure around people, um, and that's how can I communicate that to the world. So I feel like I really like bring that to the world in terms of like, if I want to like make a music video, it's like, how can I get a whole bunch of people together, make a certain structure, and tell an idea or a message to people
Right.
that will help them in a certain
and
way.
and you're pretty much facilitating with that. You're bringing the abstract into something you can facilitate and you can like actually transform it into something. It's not so interpretive at that point. You're trying to take those like thoughts that aren't formed and form them.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm. That's cool. And as far as that goes, would you say that there's a connection between what your parents' sign are and how you become, as a child or as you're being raised? Do you think those have an effect on you in those first years of your life?
Definitely, because every sign has a different relationship with each other. Like basically, that's how people kind of built this like, oh, Scorpios and Aquariuses don't get along. Because it's like there's this whole like journey with that, because they both have different ways at going at things. So
Uh-huh.
like say like I'm an Aquarius and my mom is a Taurus, and technically those signs aren't supposed to get along. because air signs are like they want to think a lot of stuff, but the earth sign wants to be like, no, you can't just be thinking, like you got to be doing, like you got to be doing. So it's like
Yeah.
they kind of like you kind of learn more earth qualities, something from your parents, or like whatever they are, you're gonna learn more from them
Hmm.
because we learn from conflict as people.
Yeah.
So and also your sun sign and moon sign, like your sun sign rules what your dad is, and your moon sign rules who your mom is. So like there's
Mm.
also ways to gather from that in your birth chart as well.
You know what's crazy? I used to think the exact same thing, but I never like studied it or tried to find a way to confirm it. But to hear you say that makes a lot of sense. It's like confirming the notion that one of these signs has to do with your parents, like one or the other, or even both. You know?
Exactly. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
you really like I'm not even like an expert astrologer, but the experts will say like you can see everything in there. Maybe I can't like write out your whole life, but like you could like really like get into some interesting details
And
in
the crazy thing is of course astrology itself is a story. Like
there.
everything we're talking
Exactly.
about is based off of other phenomenon and mythos and things that we're just starting to call it that because of these other stories. Like the planets are named what is that, Roman? I think the planets are named after like Roman gods, and yeah, you know, the months are named after certain things, and even with the it was something else I was thinking about. But yeah, the fact that a lot of this is already based on other fiction means that that came from somewhere too, and even that fiction came from somewhere else. So all we're pulling from is the world around us anyway. So there's only a certain amount of things each person can be, and once you put like a certain combination together, you're like, he was born at this time, around this place, and at this on this day. So that means this particular story should like be his Kickstarter or be his starting point. You know, this will be the baseline for how his arc will go, but there's nuances in between that'll change it, of course.
Facts. You
Mm-hmm.
know, based on who your family is, who you encounter.
Yeah.
Are you using the negative versions of your placements, or are you using the positive ones? Because there's
Mm-hmm.
positive and negative to everything. Like it's not like, oh, this is a bad thing, this is a bad thing. It's like, how do you use these tools in your arsenal, and like what are the archetypes? Because that's what the signs are. They're archetypes, and like you said, that's how it
Mm-hmm.
involves story. In story, there's different archetypes. There's different uh, character arcs, different structures, and all that.
What's up? It's UraelB, and I want to say thank you for listening to this conversation. If you're enjoying it, please consider purchasing my album that inspired it all, Respect the Real, Volume 2. The full album is available in the link in the description, and there's also a link to stream all the singles. Whichever way you support, I thank you for it. Well, I'm going to get out the way. Back to the conversation. What exactly do you think you or anybody can take from understanding this like phenomenon of astrology, because we described it as a story and we know it comes from different archetypes and different mythos that already exist.
It's honestly all of it, but in terms of like storytelling and like personal growth, uh, a really powerful saying we learned in school is like history repeats itself, which is basically saying like there are patterns. So if there are patterns, we can predict what to do when a certain pattern comes up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people have this phenomenon where like they go like, I keep going through the same problem all my life. I keep going through the same problem, and it's a pattern, and it's it's gonna be different each time. But astrology might be like, damn, this is why I go through this all the time.
Mm.
What? And these are the natural tendencies I do when this pattern comes up. So what if I do something else? Like what if I do
Yeah.
something different? And then
Yeah.
you're like, it's in patterns, how I consider them too, like in terms of personal development, they're tests. Like they're like, are
Yeah.
you ready for the next level of your life? Really? Like, really? Like, here's this test I've been giving you since you were 5. Are you gonna pass?
Is it really that long? Like I could have. I don't even know what lesson I was learning at 5 that I might still be needing to learn, other than like I said earlier, like balancing myself out. But what could you possibly be needing to evaluate and look at that's repeating itself that you can learn over and over again. Like, shouldn't you learn it once or the first couple of times it happens?
You think, but we're human, and I'm thinking off the fly right here. So this is gonna probably be a bad example. But say you're 5, and you want to share a toy with someone. You share the uh toy with them without like just like innocently because you trust the world, and they never give the toy back. So then you're like, there's like this pattern where like you might give people something without like really thinking too deeply about it, and are giving them a lot of your time or energy or your values, when you should at a certain point learn you got to give that to yourself before you can give that to someone else. Like, even to make elaborate on that story, say your mom gives you the toy, you never played with it, but there's this other kid who's like, can I play with this toy? And you're like, oh yeah, sure. And then they run off with the toy. It's gonna be like, dang, like, what is actually mine, and what is this pattern I keep getting into where I keep giving people stuff and I'm caring about all this stuff. Like, what am I doing? Instead of like, bro, take the toy and enjoy it for a little bit. And maybe you'll learn something about that and value yourself. And then you could give them the toy. Maybe then you could trust someone to give them your love or their time like that. I know it's dumb, but
No,
you know
no,
what I'm
it was
saying?
it made perfect sense. It wasn't dumb because it started making me think about a story of mine that is very similar to that. And I'll tell you after I ask this question, but do you think those particular lessons and the certain things each individual learns is like linked to the archetype of these signs or linked to the archetype of their, astrology chart?
Yes,
So,
definitely.
so give
Like,
me an example of an archetype that would be linked to that particular lesson.
in that particular lesson, I say Pisces. Like, they're
Mm.
like, what an archetype of Pisces is: surrender or unlimited love or boundless like energies, no boundaries. So they might give the toy and do all this stuff, give love, give time, but where's the boundary for yourself? How
Uh-huh.
are you filling up yourself, Pisces? Like,
Mm.
you can't how you can't like people say, you can't give people water if your cup isn't full.
Facts.
So you got to learn how to fill your cup before you just start giving that to people, because you're at the end of the day you might not even be helping them. Like that,
Yo,
now
that's
this person,
crazy.
like, think of the toy, like the guy takes the toy and now he's like, oh, I could just take anything I want now, and now he's messing with people. Like, it's a
Yo.
whole like
And I didn't mean to laugh because if anybody's going through that, it's not that I'm laughing at the fact that you're going through it. I'm laughing at how real it is and how like spot on a lot of people's situations are. Because I resonate with the like pouring out too much for other people. So a question I have regarding that is this indicative of just being a Pisces in that archetype, or does it have anything to do with like the Pisces being a water sign and like all water signs might learn this lesson?
it, because all the signs get their like personality by like a few different things: by the planet that rules them, by the modality they are they a fixed sign, are they a mutable sign, are they a
Uh-huh.
cardinal sign, and then the element. So that's like three things
Bro,
that like
yeah.
gives the personality.
Okay, so what would the modality of a Pisces be?
They're mutable, and mutable is like, it changes. It's okay, it's good with going with the flow and like changing and like being on its toes. A
Mm-hmm.
fixed sign is going to be more like, I'm doing this and I'm doing it forever. And cardinal signs are like, I'm starting things here, I'm starting things there, I'm starting things here,
Hmm.
and they're not really great at finishing, as opposed to a fixed sign is going to be finishing it. Like, but they got to
Uh-huh.
learn how to. Fixed signs don't know how to adapt though. So they might be doing the same thing and running into the same wall each time. And it's like, bro, you gotta change. You gotta change. You can't be
Yo,
doing the same thing.
no, that's accurate. That's accurate. I'm thinking of people who are like this for me, and I'm like, okay, they're fixed, or this person's cardinal, or all right, they might be mutable. So that's very accurate. That's interesting. But the story I wanted to tell, which went along with the analogy you gave, which is very similar to what I'm about to say, is I recall I had to be like 10, I think. And this other kid that lived around my block, he was like 15, maybe 16 at the time. So yeah, I was like 9 or 10. And I vividly remember this particular lesson happening at that moment, but it also coming up later where I thought I was making a great deal with this kid. He wanted to trade me certain video games me and my brother had for some of the games he had. And I'm like, okay, I don't really trade games, but I get it. He got a PS2, we got a PS2. Let's like look at what he got and let's look at what he want from us. He wanted like 2 or 3 particular games. I can't remember what they were, but he was giving us like 15 games. And I'm like, duh, why would I like hold on to these 3 when I could go get 15? And some of these, like, I don't even want. I think I wanted like one of them, but the other 2 that he wanted, I didn't really like play no more. So not only am I 10 and he's like 15, 16, but he's giving me more than what I'm giving him. Everything in my mind said, duh, do this shit. But when I traded the games, 12 of like the 15 games he gave us had no game in the case. And 2 of the games that were in cases didn't work. And only one of the games I got actually worked. And I didn't even want to that fucking game. It was more about the quantity for me. And I realized that I've learned this exact lesson on like things can very well be too good to be true. And things might not be what you see, Urael. You see things in a very like, not happy-go-lucky, but in like a very optimistic way. And you're always going to look at things from a lens of like, I want to see the good in stuff. When somebody else can clearly be trying to get over on you or have bad intentions, but you're trying so hard to see the good in it that you look it over. And that's exactly what happened to me then. It was one of those moments where I'm like, okay, I'm not saying we're finessing him because he's giving us 15 games and he's only getting 3. But if you really look at it, all 3 of the games I gave him worked. He gave me a bunch of stuff that didn't work and knew he was doing that, but still led me to believe that I was getting something of value. And all I wanted to see was the value in it. But I didn't see how he was manipulating me and my little brother. And that's why I'm like, that's crazy that certain lessons like that can carry over with you, because I learned that same lesson like in 2019 when I was first like doing shows and performing. I got finessed out of like $200 thinking, oh, I'm getting to open up for an artist. Like all I got to do is pay $200 and I'll get paid $2,000 after the show. That's one of those like, okay, if you knew what you were getting into, you wouldn't have so like signed up for this shit. But you're so eager and ready to see the good in things or like what your benefit is that you're not even realizing how other people are using that to your advantage, to their advantage, you know? And that's crazy that you talked about those stories and archetypes having like certain things they'll run into and history repeating itself, and you needing to pay attention to that because it's going to shape whatever you think you're going to do in life. You'll always keep running into that, and it's something you'll need to pay attention to. So I wanted to share that story because, like I said, what you were saying to me made sense. The kid giving more and not realizing they're giving and giving and giving and they're not really receiving, or they don't have anything else to give, but here they are giving. That definitely resonated with me.
Yes, it's like it's crazy how archetypes just repeat all our lives, and I mean, you learn a lot from that lesson. You learn
Yeah.
that quantity isn't exactly quality.
Yeah.
You learn to trust your gut too. You're like, these games are good, but there's 15 of them though. So like that
like, why
gotta
are
be
you
like,
giving up so many, you know?
yeah, like your brain knew something was off, but you're like, I ain't gonna trust that gut because I see it right here. So like everything you see isn't what it seems, like you said. Don't trust so easily. Not everyone deserves your trust.
Yeah.
Like there's so many lessons to be picked off, and these patterns they just keep repeating in school, in life, in college, in marriage. It's just amazing. And there's only so many of them. It's not like every problem that's been had has been experienced before in some way.
Yeah, they say there's nothing new under the sun.
Exactly. Like AI seems new, but at the end of the day, it's just technology, man. It's
Yeah.
it's like the same as when computers came out.
Very true. Yeah, you're right. It's something that people are shook up by because it just changed just a little bit. You know, it looked different enough for them to feel like, oh, what am I doing? Like, what's going on? But you're right. Everything has happened before, and we're all just repeating these cycles to learn those lessons. That's what I believe too. Hey, it's UraelB, and I want to say thank you again for tuning in to this conversation. Your attention is extremely valuable. So if you took any value from this video, please consider liking, sharing this with someone, and subscribing to this channel. It goes a long way. And stay tuned for more. Check out one of these videos right here.